undefeated, but the rest of the ranking is a toss-up. Number 2, Ohio State beat number 3, Michigan over the weekend, while number 4, Clemson, and 5th-ranked Washington easily won their games. Shannon, which 4 teams will end up in the playoff?
I got Alabama, 1.
Oh, I'm shocked.
Ohio State, 2. Clemson, 3. And Alabama backups at 4. Oh, my man. Yeah, I couldn't do that. You mean to tell me Alabama?
I'm going to comment on that. I'm going to let you finish, but I'm going to comment on Alabama backups. I got to write that down.
Oh, I thought I could slip that by yourself.
Yeah.
I got Alabama 1, Ohio State 2, Clemson 3, and Washington 4. I believe Clemson will handle business against Virginia Tech in the ACC championship game. I don't know how you leave a team that only has 1 loss and won their regular season title and win the conference title. You leave them home in Washington. I think they've done enough. Their body of work will speak for itself. Pac-12 championship, I think they win and they go in. So Alabama, Ohio State.
Okay, so I assume you have then Wisconsin eliminating Penn State from this equation because Penn State obviously beat Ohio State head-to-head.
Yes.
So, right? Is that what you have?
Yes, because when you look at it, Ohio State also had gone on the road and they shellacked Oklahoma. They beat Michigan. They beat Wisconsin. So I think their body of work is good enough for them to get in. Now, do they stay at 2? Maybe not. Maybe Clemson goes to 2 and Ohio State falls back to 3. But I don't see them, even though they're not playing for their conference title, I don't see them falling out of the top 4. There's no way they fall out of the top 4 given their body of work. And the question is, what does the committee do with Michigan? Are they 5 or are they 6? Because all things being equal, you and I both believe they really hope Washington lose. And Clemson lose, so therefore they can put Michigan, and then it would be Alabama, Ohio State, Michigan, but do they really want Wisconsin and Penn State in the college playoffs? I mean, can you answer me this, and I'm going to let you go, Skip. Do you really want to see Alabama play Wisconsin or Penn State?
Wisconsin would be interesting to me. I think Wisconsin can give Alabama some problems just because they're so well coached and they play so hard. They could give them some problems. They would keep it close.
Skip, when all you can do is run the football with really no threat of throwing the ball.
This could be like a 12-10 game.
Alabama, I guarantee you, I bet you the line would open up at plus 17.
I don't know if it'd be that high.
Plus.
It would be double digits, but maybe not 17.
So that's the question. But right now I got Alabama, Ohio State, Clemson, Washington, because I believe both teams that's playing championship games this weekend will win and make it very easy for the committee.
I have one question for you.
Okay.
One hypothetical, given that number 4 on your list originally was the Alabama backups. What if a miracle occurs and Florida upsets Alabama as a 24-point underdog in the SEC
Alabama's
championship
still
game?
in the playoffs.
You still think they're in?
They're still in the playoffs.
I have big issues with that because this SEC this year is highly overrated. I went to school in the SEC, and I'm going to make my point by talking quickly about my school, Vanderbilt. You have ridiculed my football program, have you not?
Yes.
My football program this year, this is football, not baseball. We dominate nationally in baseball.
You don't dominate.
Yes, we do dominate. We're in back-to-back national championship series. Yeah. No, we won the first one, lost the second one. Here's the point. My school in football this year in the Southeastern Conference won at Georgia, beat Ole Miss, beat Tennessee, nearly beat Florida, came very close to beating Florida, nearly beat Auburn, should have beaten South Carolina. That's just, I don't even want to talk about that. But there was a chance that we, the doormat Vanderbilt Commodores, because the SEC is so weak this year, had a chance to win 6 SEC conference football games, 6, and did win 3, and did win 6 total games to become bowl eligible. Way to go, Commodores. Again, I just think it's the best school in America. I don't really care how great we are in football because all that really matters are the academics and in the big picture.
When you got all these Ivy League schools.
You call it Ivy League and we're in the SEC. I appreciate that. You know, Harvard is the Vanderbilt to the north, but that's a whole nother issue. So here's the point. I just drove home to you how bad the SEC is. And Alabama has been feasting on the SEC. So if Alabama loses to Florida, they're out of my Final Four. Because they're completely overrated. They are. Because look at these teams. No, you can't read it anyway.
No,
I need it.
This year, no, this is
That's one. That was for a future debate. But anyway,
that's what you should do with that sheet right there.
That was for my cowboy debate. And you know what? You gave yourself a huge advantage because that stuff would have eliminated you in the cowboy debate.
That's what you should do.
That was
with
my ammo.
That sheet that you talking about Alabama should be out of the playoffs after they've won.
They should absolutely be out of the playoffs after they. This is pathetic what they did.
They hung 52 on USC.
Yeah, they got hung 43 on by Ole Miss.
You know what?
By Chad Kelly threw for 400 yards. Are you kidding me?
And
if they lose to Florida, they're out. Out.
Skip, you mentioned Chad Kelly, and you mentioned Arkansas because Allen, that little kid that you said he threw.
He threw for 400 on the dot.
In 2 games, Alabama has given up 73 points. In the 10 games after that, they've given up 66.
Are you including Chattanooga in that?
Okay. I'm gonna throw Chattanooga out. I'm gonna throw Chattanooga out.
How do you get Chattanooga on your schedule in like game number 10?
Okay. In November, they played LSU, who's ranked.
Yeah, nothing to nothing for 3 quarters.
Skip.
Nothing to nothing.
See, Joe, he won't let me talk. Will you please instruct Skip to let me talk?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. We're not talking about Chattanooga anymore. We're talking about LSU.
Yeah, I got you. You're
Then we played Auburn in the Iron Bowl.
Yeah.
I said we played Auburn in the Iron Bowl. In November, Skip.
Yep.
Alabama Crimson Tide D have yet to allow anyone.
Do I get to talk?
I have yet to see.
Do I get to talk?
I have. If you play on Alabama, you have yet to see the referee make you smell the deodorant. You have yet to see him do this. That's what we call it. See, when you score a tub, we say,
make
him smell deodorant.
That's good.
Alabama don't know what that smells like.
I'm sure those refs wear deodorant.
They don't know.
I'm
they
not
don't
sure
even know
they
what
do.
it smells like.
Yeah.
I told you. Yeah.
Oh, time out.
Go ahead, Skip.
Auburn started its backup quarterback in the Iron Bowl. What's his name? Jared Johnson? Seriously? Shane White's out.
We make everybody look like backups.
Oh, okay. That's a gimme.
Our backups to the backups would be stars on any other team. Skip, did you know this about Coach Saban? Coach Saban has won 8 straight championship games, meaning SEC titles and national titles. That's 8 straight. Saturday will be Coach Saban's 48th game coaching Alabama as the #1 team. That's #1 all time. He's won 42 of those games. Boy, that's
who's your researcher? What's his name? We got to applaud him. What's his name?
Alabama, hold up. Alabama have scored 9 non-offensive touchdowns. Double closest. Is that good?
In the SEC.
You smell that? Alabama, they got a stanker down there.
Stanker.
Ooh,
Yeah, they do. Sometimes you know what? In my definition of stanker, they had one against Chad Kelly. You know, that was a stanker. 48-43, really?
At one point, we got 23 points in that place.
Wow. Got some bad calls. Chad Kelly should have won that game.
Should have.
All right, back to Joy's question.
Okay.
So, my 4 are Alabama, Ohio State, Clemson, and Washington, just as you had those 4. Because I do believe that Wisconsin will win, Washington will win. By the way, my Sooners will win big over Oklahoma State, and they will be a factor in this if there's an upset anywhere. If Penn State wins, it could get dicey. It could open the back door for Stoops and company.
So if let's just say for the sake of argument, Clemson or Washington were to lose, who do you think should get that 4th spot?
Okay, I've said this to you. I told you yesterday. I've said it all along. The best defense in college football belongs to Jim Harbaugh's Michigan. Do I think Michigan is better than Clemson? I do. Do I think Michigan's better than Washington? I do. Does Michigan belong in my Final Four the way I would see it? I test Final Four. You better believe it. And I heard coaches all through the offseason again and again say, we want our committee to identify the 4 best teams. Doesn't matter about conference champion or what, blah, blah, blah. No criteria except the best 4 teams. Is Michigan one of the best 4? You know and I know Michigan is one. Michigan came within what you thought was a bad call on the spot on J.T. Barrett and a bad call on 2 pass interferences of winning at Ohio State. That's all I need to know. If you got Ohio State in, I got Michigan in too, but they won't be in.
But you keep telling me Michigan has a great defense. Is this one of the best teams? Yeah, if you want to just talk about defense, but I'm going to tell you like I told Ray. Ray, you have one of the all-time great defenses, but you can't go nowhere without us.
Okay.
So What about Michigan's offense?
Okay, what did Michigan do to Penn State? 49-10.
Yeah.
49. They scored 49 points on Penn State, who was in the conference
Let me
championship
ask you a
game.
question. Was that week 1, week 2, or week 3?
I don't care. It all counts. It's just resume.
You've rewarded Michigan by moving them up and keeping them in the rankings. You've punished Penn State by dropping them. At what time do you start punishing teams for losing 2 out of their last 3 games? Because that's what happened. Now, you want to knock Alabama completely out if they lose to Florida.
Yeah.
Here's a team that's lost 2 of their last 3.
What was the toughest conference in America? It was the Big Ten. So they get points for that because they had to play through that schedule. And obviously, you have to take into consideration the quarterback got hurt late in the Iowa game when they were up 13-11. They would have closed the deal with a healthy quarterback. They lost because he couldn't throw the football.
How do we know he didn't close the deal? They had a 17-7 lead over Ohio State.
They did. And what happened? He handed 14 points.
So how do we know he
to Ohio State, and then he took away 7 from Michigan?
How do we know he wouldn't have done that in the Iowa game?
You know what? Michigan outplayed Ohio State except for the quarterback.
Can I get back to my Alabama team? Alabama won 14.
You mean Ain't Nick's team?
Alabama has won 14 straight against ranked opponents. 2 wins away from tying the 05 USC record at 16. Well, we know that's going to happen because they've been to thump Florida. Alabama, I like, reading is fun. You hear that the commercial, reading is fun. Alabama won 4 straight against ranked opponents early this season. First, #1 team to do that since the 2001 Hurricane.
Wait, Chris Healy just said we need to wrap.
No, he didn't say that.
He did.
I didn't hear nothing.
He did.
I didn't hear
Because
nothing.
we're all tired of hearing this. Nobody cares anymore. Nobody cares.
What do you want for Christmas, Skip? You want a Saint Nick sweater?
I want an Ain't Nick sweater. That's what I want. I want something that says Ain't Nick.
I want you to say it.
The coach's defense gave up 43 to Chad Kelly this year. Well, that's the best team.
When it's all said and done,
wow,
Alabama's going to be the first team in NCAA history
to be so
15-0.
You know, Florida has a pretty good defense. This could be interesting. This could be low scoring, maybe big upset. Who knows? Wouldn't I love that? Wouldn't I love to come in on Monday?
I know you would.
Woo.
But you know how you going to come in Monday? They played the Florida Gators, who all should have lost to my Virginia Vanderbilt Commodore.
Get it right,
I know what you're going to say, Skip. You're going to try to find a way to discredit my guy. But St. Nick is the gold standard of coaching.
Well, the college football playoff ranking will be released tonight, and 2 major conference championship games that will affect the playoff will be on Fox this weekend. Pac-12 title game is on Friday at 9 Eastern, and the Big Ten title kicks off at 8:17 Eastern. I will not.
Thank you.
I will not. Coming up,
you're a hater.
I will not. Kiko Alonso criticizes Colin Kaepernick for his stance on Fidel Castro. We'll discuss that next.